So I wanted to make a quick video for anyone out there who is just starting their spiritual journey. I'm probably about a year and a half into mine and still learning and growing every day. But I saw this post on one of the spiritual pages that I'm on Facebook, and it kind of like irritated me. So this girl is talking about how she's a light worker and a star child and an indigo child and all this other stuff, and it goes, but I'm not a witch. But does anybody else agree? So all these people are just dropping all this stuff that they in with, just label after label after label. And then you have people who practice the craft and they're also like, well, what's wrong with being a witch and all that. This is my take on it. Whether you're in it or just starting, don't feel like you have to be defined by a label. You don't have to be, oh, I'm not an empath, or I'm not an indigo child, or I'm not a star child, or I'm not all that. I am not a bragger or anything like that. I commented that I feel like I cannot be defined by any of these. The limit does not exist to what I identify or relate to. You know what I mean? We're all on this spiritual journey. It's not a journey of ego. That is a whole part of your awakening. It's the death of your ego and the growth of your spiritual, your soul, your mind, and you're vibrating higher and you're ascending higher. And I'm not shaming people who do identify with all that. That's perfectly fine. But what I'm saying is, you don't have to drop all these labels intimidating these new people who are starting their journey for whatever reason, whether it's an event in their life that brings it to them, or if they just want to hop on the trend or whatever. You don't have to do all that. Like, that is, and then you don't have to shade people who are witches or brujas or whatever it is that they feel that they are, or that they are people who practice root work. Like, you don't have to do any of that. That is just so unnecessary to me. So I'm just just saying, like, to the new person who's out there, like, your journey is your own, your path is your own. Sorry, my kids were messing with the door. But again, your journey is your own, your path is your own. And if you identify as an indigo child or empath or all that, that's fine. If you're clairvoyant, clairaudient, whatever, that's fine. If you decide you want to work with deities, then go ahead, that's fine. Don't let anybody shame you, and don't feel upset about it. Don't feel bad about anything. Don't feel bad about being a witch. Don't be feeling bad about knowing somebody who practices witchcraft. Don't feel like you need to fall into these categories, or you need to be what everybody else is so you can drop all these labels and everything so you can look better than everybody. You don't have to do that. And for people like me who are just like, oh wow, you're an indigo child and an empath and an old soul and this and that, we don't care about that. Like, you just dropping a whole bunch of labels for what? It does not matter. As long as you're growing and you're ascending, we can sit here and have a conversation about, crystals and incense and vinegar jars and all that other shit. You want to go to, how is your candle work going, stuff like that. Even though I think that stuff should be private until the outcome. But that's just me. But anyway, as I was saying, you don't feel like you have to fit in. You can do stuff different, and don't feel like you need to be rushed. People learn things in their own time. Pick one thing up. You don't need every damn crystal. You don't need every damn book. You don't need every herb and everything. I mean, I do think that you should read as much as possible and don't go off of what one person says or whatever. Cite your references, look at different books, and figure it out that way. But don't feel like you have to be what everybody else is, because that's not what the spiritual journey is. It's nothing like that. So I had to rant about that because I saw somebody else, like, it's just so annoying. That's not what it's about. Keep all that bragging stuff everywhere else. That's for the birds. Nobody freaking cares. Like, oh, you can go to people for advice, like, oh, how do you do this? Like, as an empath, how do you protect yourself from being around people with their emotional baggage? That's something different. You know what I mean? But sitting there like, well, I know how to do this, and I'm this, and I'm that, and I'm that, and it's just like, bro, who is you trying to impress? Because I honestly could give two shits. Like, that's just how I am. But good luck on your spiritual journey for anybody out there. I send you nothing but love and positive vibes, but I just felt like I needed to say that. Okay? Bye.